Recalling memories. As the two strangers found themselves chained to the walls of the mysterious basement, their minds raced to recall any memories that could shed light on their current situation. The dimly lit room seemed to hold the key to their past, and they knew that unraveling their memories was crucial to understanding why they were there. At first, their memories were fragmented, like scattered puzzle pieces waiting to be put together. They strained their minds, trying to recall anything that could provide a clue. Flashes of images and snippets of conversations flickered through their minds, but nothing concrete emerged. One of the strangers, a woman named Emily, remembered a glimpse of a crowded street, the sound of sirens, and a feeling of panic. The other stranger, a man named James, recalled the scent of a familiar perfume, the taste of coffee, and the sensation of being watched. These fragments were like whispers from their past, urging them to dig deeper. Realizing that their memories were intertwined, Emily and James decided to share their fragmented recollections with each other. They hoped that by combining their memories, they could piece together a clearer picture of their shared past. As they exchanged their memories, they discovered that some fragments overlapped. Emily's memory of the crowded street matched James' recollection of sirens, suggesting that they might have been present during the same event. The scent of the familiar perfume that James remembered triggered a faint memory in Emily, hinting at a possible connection between them. In an attempt to trigger more memories, Emily and James explored their surroundings. They touched the cold, damp walls, listened to the distant sounds echoing through the basement, and even tasted the metallic tang of the air. These sensory experiences acted as catalysts, stirring up dormant memories within their minds. Emily suddenly recalled the sensation of rough hands grabbing her, the sound of a struggle, and the taste of fear. James, on the other hand, remembered the feeling of adrenaline coursing through his veins, the sound of gunshots, and the taste of desperation. These vivid recollections brought them closer to understanding the events that led them to this basement. Driven by their growing determination, Emily and James began to search for any physical clues that might help them piece together their memories. They examined the corpse in the center of the room, hoping to find something that would trigger a breakthrough. As they carefully examined the body, they noticed a distinctive tattoo on the man's arm. It was a symbol they both recognized but couldn't quite place. The sight of the tattoo sent shivers down their spines, as if it held the key to their past. Emotion played a significant role in unlocking their memories. The fear, panic, and desperation they felt in the basement acted as catalysts, pushing their minds to remember. They realized that their memories were not just a collection of facts, but were intertwined with their emotions, creating a tapestry of experiences. With each memory that resurfaced, Emily and James felt a surge of hope. They knew that by recalling their past, they were one step closer to understanding their present predicament. The memories were like threads, slowly weaving together to form a clearer picture of their shared history. As Emily and James continued to recall their memories, they began to piece together a narrative. They were not just random strangers thrown together in a basement. They were connected by a shared past. The fragments of their memories started to align, revealing a story of betrayal, danger, and a desperate fight for survival. The basement, the corpse, and the chains were all pieces of a larger puzzle. They were caught in a web of intrigue, and their memories held the key to unraveling the truth. With each memory they recalled, they grew more determined to uncover the secrets that had led them to this dark and mysterious place. As they delved deeper into their memories, Emily and James knew that they were on the brink of a breakthrough. The answers they sought were within reach, and they were ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. Together, they would uncover the truth and find a way to escape the chains that bound them. Sharing personal stories. As the two strangers sat there, chained to the walls of the mysterious basement, they realized that they had no choice but to rely on each other for answers. With no recollection of how they ended up in this dire situation, they decided to share their personal stories in the hopes of unraveling the truth. The first stranger, a middle-aged man named John, began to speak. He recounted his last memories before waking up in the basement. He had been walking home from work late at night when he felt a sudden blow to the back of his head. The next thing he knew, he was waking up in this dark and eerie place. The second stranger, a young woman named Sarah, listened intently to John's story. She could relate to the confusion and fear he described, as her own experience mirrored his in many ways. Sarah had been out with friends, enjoying a night on the town, when she suddenly found herself in the basement, chained and surrounded by darkness. As they continued to share their stories, John and Sarah discovered some striking similarities. Both had experienced a sudden loss of consciousness before waking up in the basement. They also realized that they had been taken from different locations, suggesting that their captor had been targeting individuals at random. The more they talked, the more they realized that their lives were not as different as they initially thought. John was a widower, having lost his wife in a tragic accident a few years ago. He had been struggling to move on and find purpose in his life. Sarah, on the other hand, had recently gone through a painful breakup and was feeling lost and alone. As they delved deeper into their personal stories, John and Sarah discovered that they both had a shared sense of isolation and despair. They had both been grappling with their own demons, feeling trapped in their own lives. Little did they know that their meeting in this basement would be the catalyst for a profound transformation. Through their conversations, John and Sarah found solace in each other's company. They realized that they were not alone in their struggles, and that together they could find the strength to overcome their current predicament. They shared their hopes, dreams, and fears, forming a bond that would prove crucial in their journey towards freedom. In sharing their personal stories, John and Sarah also uncovered clues that could potentially lead them to the truth behind their captivity. They discovered that they had both received strange messages in the days leading up to their abduction. These messages were cryptic and seemed to hint at a hidden agenda. With each revelation, John and Sarah grew more determined to find a way out of the basement and bring their captor to justice. They realized that their shared experiences and personal stories held the key to unlocking the mystery that had brought them together. They vowed to support each other and use their newfound connection to navigate the challenges that lay ahead. As they continued to share their personal stories, John and Sarah found strength in their vulnerability. They discovered that by opening up to one another, they were not only unraveling the truth of their own lives, but also forging a bond that would help them face the unknown together. Little did they know that their personal stories would ultimately lead them to a shocking revelation and a chance at redemption. In the depths of that basement, chained and surrounded by darkness, John and Sarah found a glimmer of hope. They realized that by sharing their personal stories, they were not only reclaiming their own identities, but also rewriting their destinies. Together, they would uncover the truth, break free from their chains, and emerge stronger than ever before. Connecting the dots, as the two strangers sat in the dimly lit basement, their minds raced with questions and confusion. The sight of the lifeless body in the center of the room only added to their growing unease. They knew they had to find a way out, but first, they needed to understand how they ended up in this chilling predicament. The strangers began to search their minds for any fragments of memories that could shed light on their situation. They closed their eyes, trying to summon images or sounds that might provide a clue. Slowly, memories started to resurface, like scattered puzzle pieces waiting to be put together. One of them remembered a blurry image of a crowded street, the sound of sirens blaring in the distance. The other recalled a conversation with a mysterious figure, their voice filled with malice and a hint of familiarity. These fragments were like whispers in the darkness, urging them to dig deeper. In an effort to piece together their shared experience, the strangers began to share their personal stories. They spoke of their lives before this inexplicable ordeal, their hopes, dreams, and the people they held dear. As they listened to each other's tales, they discovered unexpected connections. They realized they had both been involved in similar lines of work, dealing with secrets and dangerous individuals. The strangers had unknowingly crossed paths in the past their lives intertwined by a web of intrigue and deception. It became clear that their presence in this basement was not a mere coincidence. As they delved deeper into their pasts, the strangers stumbled upon a shared connection that sent shivers down their spines. They had both been investigating a notorious criminal organization, known for its ruthless tactics and ability to manipulate events from the shadows. The organization had a reputation for silencing anyone who threatened to expose their secrets. The strangers realized that they had become targets, pawns in a deadly game orchestrated by this powerful and elusive group. The basement was just another piece of their twisted puzzle, a place where they were meant to meet their demise. With the realization of their shared connection, the strangers began to piece together the motive behind their abduction. It became clear that the criminal organization wanted to eliminate them, to ensure their secrets remained buried forever. But why were they chained in the basement instead of being killed outright? As they pondered this question, a chilling theory emerged. Perhaps the organization wanted to watch them suffer, to witness their desperation and helplessness. The basement was a psychological prison, designed to break their spirits before delivering the final blow. It was a sick and twisted game of power and control. Driven by a newfound determination, the strangers vowed to uncover the dark secrets that had led them to this point. They knew that the answers lay hidden within the walls of the basement, waiting to be discovered. Together, they began to search for clues, examining every nook and cranny for any sign of the truth. As they dug deeper, they stumbled upon a hidden compartment in the wall. Inside, they found a collection of documents, photographs, and encrypted files. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly coming together, revealing a web of corruption, betrayal, and unspeakable crimes. With each revelation, the strangers grew more determined to expose the truth and bring the criminal organization to justice. They knew that their survival depended on their ability to connect the dots and unravel the intricate web of deceit that had ensnared them. Discovering a shared connection. As the two strangers sat there, chained to the walls of the mysterious basement, they couldn't help but wonder how they ended up in such a bizarre situation. The sight of the lifeless body in the center of the room, with a bullet wound in his head and a weapon in his hand, only added to their confusion and fear. It was clear that they were in the midst of a dangerous and puzzling scenario. But what they didn't realize was that they shared a deeper connection than they could have ever imagined. As they began to exchange their stories, it became apparent that their lives had intersected in unexpected ways. The first stranger, named Alex, was a renowned detective known for his sharp instincts and ability to solve complex cases. The second stranger, named Sarah, was a talented forensic scientist who had worked closely with Alex on several investigations in the past. However, due to a recent accident, both of them had lost their memories and found themselves trapped in this grim basement. As they delved deeper into their shared history, fragments of memories started to resurface. They recalled the countless hours spent working together, analyzing evidence, and unraveling the truth behind heinous crimes. The bond they had formed during their collaborations was strong, and it became evident that their connection ran deeper than mere professional acquaintances. As the memories flooded back, they realized that they had been investigating a particularly dangerous criminal organization. This organization had been responsible for a series of high-profile murders and had managed to stay one step ahead of the law enforcement agencies. Alex and Sarah had been closing in on them, gathering evidence, and building a case that would bring them down once and for all. However, it seemed that their pursuit of justice had not gone unnoticed. The criminal organization had devised a sinister plan to eliminate the two individuals who posed a threat to their operations. They had orchestrated their abduction, erasing their memories, and leaving them chained in this basement as a twisted message. With each revelation, the pieces of the puzzle started to fall into place. The corpse in the center of the room was none other than the leader of the criminal organization, the man responsible for orchestrating their abduction. It was clear that he had met a violent end, but the circumstances surrounding his death remained a mystery. As Alex and Sarah continued to share their memories, they realized that they were not alone in their fight against the criminal organization. They had a network of allies, fellow law enforcement officers, and informants who were working tirelessly to bring down the organization from within. The basement they found themselves in was just one piece of a much larger puzzle, and their shared connection was the key to unraveling the truth. With newfound determination, Alex and Sarah vowed to escape their chains and bring the criminals to justice. They knew that their memories held the key to solving the mystery of their abduction and the murder of the criminal organization's leader. Together, they would piece together the fragments of their past, connect the dots, and expose the dark secrets that had led them to this basement. Little did they know that their journey would be fraught with danger and challenges. The criminal organization would stop at nothing to protect their secrets and eliminate anyone who stood in their way. But Alex and Sarah were determined to face the unknown, confront the unexpected, and ultimately find the closure and redemption they sought. As they prepared to embark on their journey, they knew that their shared connection would be their greatest strength. The trust they had built over the years, the knowledge they had gained from their investigations, and the support they would provide each other would be crucial in their fight for freedom and justice. Together, they would uncover the truth, expose the culprits, and finally find the inner peace they had been searching for. The basement was just the beginning of their journey, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Understanding the motive. As the two strangers sat there, chained to the walls of the mysterious basement, they couldn't help but wonder about the motive behind their abduction. The sight of the lifeless body in the center of the room, with a bullet wound to the head, only added to their confusion and fear. They knew they had to understand why they were brought here and what purpose they served in this twisted game. With their minds racing and adrenaline pumping, the strangers began to search for any clues that might shed light on their situation. They carefully examined the surroundings, hoping to find something that would provide answers. Every inch of the basement was scrutinized, from the walls to the floor, in the hopes of finding a hidden message or a clue left behind by their captor. Realizing that the corpse in the center of the room might hold valuable information, the strangers cautiously approached it. They examined the body, taking note of any distinguishing features or objects that might reveal the identity of the deceased. They carefully inspected the weapon in the man's hand, wondering if it was the same weapon used to kill him, or if it had been placed there as a deliberate misdirection. As they continued their search for answers, the strangers couldn't help but speculate on the motive behind their abduction. Was it a random act of violence, or was there a deeper purpose to their presence in this basement? They considered various possibilities, from being victims of a deranged individual seeking power and control, to being part of a larger conspiracy with unknown objectives. In their quest to understand the motive, the strangers began to share their personal stories and experiences. They hoped that by uncovering any connections between their pasts, they could unravel the mystery of their presence in the basement. They discussed their professions, their hobbies, and even their relationships, searching for any commonalities that might provide a clue to their abductor's motive. As they delved deeper into their personal histories, the strangers discovered a shared connection that sent shivers down their spines. It turned out that both of them had been involved in a high-profile case several years ago, where they had played crucial roles in bringing a dangerous criminal to justice. Could this be the motive behind their abduction? Had someone sought revenge for their actions? The realization that their past actions might have led them to this terrifying situation only fueled their determination to uncover the truth. They began to dig deeper into their memories, recalling every detail of the case they had worked on together. As they pieced together the events leading up to their abduction, they couldn't help but wonder if they had missed something crucial, something that had now come back to haunt them. With each passing moment, the strangers grew more desperate to understand the motive behind their captivity. They knew that time was running out, and they had to find a way to escape before it was too late. They brainstormed ideas, trying to think like their captor, hoping to anticipate their next move and gain an advantage. Finally, After hours of searching, analyzing, and reflecting, the strangers stumbled upon a hidden compartment in the basement wall. Inside, they found a journal filled with cryptic entries and disturbing drawings. As they deciphered the writings, they realized that their abduction was not just an act of revenge, but part of a larger plan to expose the corruption and cover-ups that had plagued their previous case. Armed with this newfound knowledge, the strangers knew they had to act swiftly. They understood that their captor was not just seeking revenge, but was also determined to bring the truth to light. They realized that their escape was not only a matter of personal survival, but also a chance to expose the dark secrets that had been hidden for far too long. With their newfound purpose, the strangers worked together, using their skills and knowledge to devise an escape plan. They knew they had to be cautious and strategic, as their captor was watching their every move. They utilized the hidden tools they had found in the basement, using them to their advantage as they navigated through the challenges and obstacles that stood in their way. As they neared the end of their journey, the strangers knew that they would soon come face to face with their captor. They braced themselves for the final confrontation, ready to confront the person responsible for their abduction and the motive behind it. They were determined to seek justice and find closure, not just for themselves, but for all those who had been affected by the corruption they had uncovered. In the end, the strangers managed to overcome their physical limitations and achieve their freedom. They emerged from the basement, battered and bruised, but with a renewed sense of purpose. They knew that their journey was not just about survival, but about seeking justice and redemption. They vowed to continue their fight against corruption, using their experiences to bring about positive change in the world. Revealing dark secrets. As the two strangers continued to unravel the mysteries surrounding their presence in the basement, they couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The discovery of the corpse with a bullet through his head and a weapon in his weakened hand only deepened their confusion and fear. It was clear that they were caught in a web of darkness and secrets, and they were determined to uncover the truth. As they searched for answers, the strangers began to piece together fragments of their own memories. Flashes of images and disjointed recollections flooded their minds, hinting at a sinister past they had long forgotten. They realized that their connection to each other and to the basement ran deeper than they could have ever imagined. Driven by a desperate need to understand their circumstances, the strangers started sharing their personal stories. Each revelation brought them closer to the truth, exposing a web of deceit, betrayal, and dark secrets. They discovered that they were not mere victims of circumstance, but players in a twisted game orchestrated by someone with a malevolent agenda. As they delved deeper into their shared past, the strangers began to connect the dots. Clues and cryptic messages they had discovered earlier started to make sense, revealing a complex puzzle that had been carefully constructed. They realized that their presence in the basement was not a random occurrence, but a meticulously planned event designed to expose their darkest secrets. With each revelation, the motive behind their captivity became clearer. The strangers discovered that they were not innocent victims, but individuals with a shared connection to a heinous crime. The person responsible for their predicament sought to extract justice and retribution, using the basement as a stage for their twisted sense of morality. As the strangers continued their journey of self-discovery, they grew closer to unmasking the identity of the person behind their torment. They uncovered a trail of evidence that led them to a shocking revelation. The true culprit was someone they had once trusted, someone who had hidden their true nature behind a facade of normalcy. The realization sent shivers down their spines, as they now understood the depth of the darkness that surrounded them. Armed with the knowledge of their past and the identity of their captor, the strangers knew that they had to confront the shadows that haunted them. They understood that their only chance at freedom lay in facing their deepest fears and confronting the person responsible for their suffering. It was a daunting task, but they were determined to reclaim their lives and bring an end to the cycle of darkness that had consumed them. In a climactic confrontation, the strangers confronted their captor, forcing them to face the consequences of their actions. The truth was laid bare, and the weight of their dark secrets became too heavy to bear. In the midst of chaos and turmoil, the strangers found solace in the knowledge that they had finally brought the truth to light. With the truth revealed and justice served, the strangers found themselves on the path to redemption. They had faced their darkest fears and emerged stronger, determined to leave the shadows of their past behind. As they stepped out of the basement, they carried with them a newfound sense of closure and a resolve to live their lives free from the chains of their past. The journey through the basement had been a harrowing one, but it had also been a catalyst for growth and self-discovery. The strangers had learned that even in the darkest of places, there is always a glimmer of hope. And as they walked away from the basement, they knew that they had the strength to face whatever challenges lay ahead, armed with the knowledge that they had conquered their own demons and emerged victorious.